yeguna mi mama we. Mogu gama yega mama. Nu agrewa gae. Nu agrewa ga bo gae. Kula le ya bo ga. Mogu na mi ma yega we. Imama we. Oh nu we. Nu a bo ga bo gae. Kula le ya gae. Mogu na mi ma Imama wa Oga imama imama wa Una mwiga imama wa Ega imama wa Ula na mwi imama o imama wa
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jai, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. We are also live on Prime FM 105.5 in Monrovia. You heard the song Imama in a special way. I want to say Imama to God for making all of us to see this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And with me to discuss on this Saturday evening, we're going to be dissecting some current issues in our country. Joining me is FOL, the host of the Hour of Politics, Mr. Anthony Sie. Mr. Sie, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
It's good to be here. Let's do this.
Also want to welcome Mr. Jimmy Eastman, who is a co-host on Point. Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, and I wish to hear some riveting discussions today.
Thank you. Next, joining us is Mr. George Tule, who is also a co-host on Point that comes to us every Sunday at 6 o'clock. Mr. Tule, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? And we want to appreciate the viewers out there who normally take the time to join us. We appreciate you guys.
Joining us from our Prime FM studio in Monrovia is Prince Momba. He's our anchor there, and he's going to be linking us with Prime FM. Prince, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dennis. It's good joining you guys from here in Liberia for this great show tonight. It's great to be here. I'm grateful.
Last but not the least is a co-host of FOL Marketplace. That's our business, finance, and economic program here at Focus on Liberia. Professionally, he is the FBI of money. Mr. Alex Coffey. Mr. Coffey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. And to everybody, all the panelists in the listening land.
We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. Again, this is Focus on Liberia, and we are live on Prime FM 105.5. At this time, I want to call Mr. Anthony Sie, the politics guy, to just give us a rundown of the issues that we're going to be discussing tonight. Mr. Sie.
In today's edition of Focus on Liberia and Prime FM Live, we are dissecting 4 major issues obtaining in the country Liberia, and if time permits, we will add 4 Issue number 1. A Joe Boakai Ellis Cummings reunion? That is the question we are asking. The rumors are going around that the two are trying to re-engage to put together a ticket. How can that be possible, given all that's happened? The panelists are seated for that one. Issue number 2. The Sioux Plain July 26 Fix the Country protest. That is the Student Unification Party. They have planned a protest on July 26, calling for the July 26 celebration to be canceled. In their words, we need to face the country. There shouldn't be any reason to celebrate. Do they have a point? We will go into that issue. Number 3, what should we expect from the Unity Party's convention planned to be held in Bangabong County, starting from the 26th to the 29th of this month? Is Unity Party ready to reinvigorate, revive itself, and go into the upcoming election? Or they have nothing? We will find out. Issue number 4. The controversial Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission Act. Wow, this new act is raising eyebrows. We have the facts, we have the details, we have the new elements to this law that they are adding, trying to change the game. Some people think that they are trying to protect themselves, talking about the government officials. Panelists are seated. We will lay it all out for you. And finally, if we have time, we will talk about the issue of food security and food shortages in Liberia. Dennis, it's back to you.
Welcome. Thank you, Mr. CA. Again, we want to welcome our viewers from across the globe. These are pertinent issues that we need to discuss. Let's get this started and start with this, the rumors that we're hearing that Mr. Joseph Newman Boakai, that's former Vice President Joseph Newman Boakai, is inviting Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings. The two have really gone head to head in this whole CPP fracas, in the disintegration of the CPP. And we've heard that Mr. Boakai is inviting his colleague, Mr. Cummings, to a wedding program or a wedding anniversary. People are reading a lot in this, that this could signal that the two may be getting together, because it looked like from local elections and other things, going their separate ways is not going to win them the presidency. Is there any truth to these rumors, and what can we read from what's happening? I mean, the closest person to Mr. Boakai here is our friend George Kanatule. George, are you hearing these rumors as well? And is there any credibility to them?
If you ask me, I'm not going to give it traction until I see it. They're adults. They have the right to talk. And we can't use Lofa as a benchmark for the popularity of, or the Lofa senatorial election, as the benchmark for the popularity of Joseph Boakai amongst the Lofa people. Hardly any of Joseph Boakai's, candidates have won in Lofa. Even in Foya district, after the war, Eugene Falakpaka won that election. And he wasn't a Unity Party, he was the Liberty Party candidate. And Joseph Boakai was from Foya, and he was the same election Joseph Boakai became vice president. So that is not a benchmark for Lofa politics, and be honest with you today. It's more about people driven. It's more about an individual. And then also, again, when you come out of the district, it is more about representation in terms of who the balance in representation. Like in this race, Zozo and Vonjama are two Loma districts. You would the people will not sit there and allow the county to have two Loma senators, even though they are from different districts and different dialects. They are all Lomas, yes, but they are from different districts, different dialects, different nuances, different cultures. Even though we are Loma, we have some similarities, but we are vastly different. So that is not something. But to speak to the issue of Alex Cummings, I cannot quote anybody here, but I can say this: there are people in the international community who have been saying, and I know for a fact somebody who is very prominent to Alex Cummings, bro, you're shooting yourself in the leg. What I have been saying, I've said on the show many times, that you have an opportunity to do something. If you say you really love Liberia, you would think. And that's how I question his ability to think critically. So I'm not going to go into specifics, but what I'm saying is, whatever will remove George Weah from power, I'm for it.
Thank you. Prince, let me go to you there. You are in Monrovia, and we heard this rumors. How widespread is this rumors in Monrovia, and is there any truth to it?
It is a rumors, like you said, and I don't want to be too fast to talk, but whether that possibility exists is what should be asked, is what should be discussed. But it is a rumors, and what we should be looking out from that rumors is the truth. And then if that is truth, why is it happening? And what does the Joseph Boakai intends to achieve if he's inviting Mr. Cummings after they have a good time together, and then they have to go their separate ways? Is it because of the Louva County elections result, and are there trust anymore between the two? And so those are discussions, I mean, on the lips of people. Mm-hmm. And so, like you said, it's been rumored. We following it, but those are discussions that will come on the lips of any individual who hears that. Whether the trust exists between the two, whether there are still possibility of the two going together, in the interest of supporting one party ticket ahead of the elections. Whether Boakai will be able to trust Cummings, or Cummings will be able to trust Boakai, or one person will have to give in the interest of the two of them agenda. So that is the critical point. But like you said, then they ask the question. It has been rumored. We have not spoken to any of the two sides, and neither have I spoken to anyone, I mean, closer to them to authenticate the truthfulness into that. But we heard that, and it's been discussed. Well, I'm just been critical a bit to say whether it's possible. If it is possible, what is the trust level between the two? After they were in the CPP, of course, we all know the story of the CPP. One person says I must be the head, and the other person says I should be the head. What has happened today that they will come back together? So that is a critical point of discussion.
Mr. Sear, is this worth discussing? Is this news?
Then in politics, gentlemen, if any of you listening to the show somewhere, please mute yourself. Then in politics, anything is worth discussing. That's how I see it. But I want to say quickly here, the office of the vice president released a statement when these rumors came out that they were trying to talk about putting together a ticket. And I will read that. It's very short here. July 21st, 2022, information on Cummings meeting with JMB is baseless and unfounded. Moreover, the attention of the office of the former vice president and standing bearer of the Unity Party has been drawn to unfounded and irresponsible reports on social and media outlets that the Honorable Joseph Yaman Boakai will meet with ANC leader Elisana Bernadette Cummings. No such meeting is planned. I will stop right there. So it came from the office of the former vice president that at no time they, even, thought of having any such discussion, and that is baseless and unfounded. And, but politically, Dennis, that is it right there. Why, with the former vice president, even if this is true, we want to release a statement with such a strong language, baseless, unfounded, and that is not true. I don't know what is the goal today. I don't know what to make of it right now. But politically, we know for a fact, Dennis, I get inside information. There is a desire on both sides for some kind of conversation. Now, the disagreement there is that there are some folks in the Cummings camp who prefer that Joseph Boakai should be bought out. He should be taken out of the way. The Boakai thing is saying, no, We don't want that. What we want is that we should find a way to come together. And if we cannot come together, we should stay at peace so that whoever makes it to second round, then the other will support that person or that side that makes it to second round. That is the kind of conversation they are interested in. Now, on the Boakai side, they are financially depleted, exhausted, and they have no standing whatsoever. They don't have even the means of sourcing any significant funding for the campaign. The only option they have is Cummings. How do they pull that off given what happened? That is the piece that is missing. I'm not sure they have the stomach, politically speaking, to do that. So we'll wait and see.
Jimmy, if this were to happen, is there any good that's going to come out of it for the opposition bloc?
Wow. You know, there's a proverb that says necessity is the mother of invention. This means when the need for something becomes imperative, people are forced to find ways of getting or achieving it. You ask if something good can come out of it. If they can come to a synergy, in other words, they can take the good things from the ANC party, they take the good things from the UP party, and all those involved, and make one out of that, they tend to gain a lot. But if it's only a mixture that everybody is in their corner, then it will be as powerful or as whole together as strong. So the good that will come out of it, it will show maturity, that we are able to handle our differences. This should have happened before it went as far as it did. But should they able to come together and reach some synergy, basic understanding and agreement between them, because there's just like Anthony was saying, there's a trust issue now. But if they can get past that, and by coming together with certain things that will still bond them and keep them afloat and give them a direction, then that will be something good coming out of it. But now I think they have realized the missteps they've taken by attacking each other and completely oblivious of the initial goal, and that is toward the presidency. So there's a lot good can come out of it if it happens.
And what would that be?
You will have a newborn. You know, when we go through fire, when we go through challenges, and we come out of those challenges, we become a better person because now we're more fortified, we have more experience, we understand not to do certain things to each other. We're strong. So that is what, if they can overcome the issues that exist.
Thank you. Mr. Coffey, what's the best case scenario here? And when you first heard about these rumors that they were meeting, was that something you took seriously? And you've been closer to some elections in Liberia where we know money talks. There are reports that the Boakai campaign is broke, and Mr. Cummings is still walking around like an ATM in that place. Do you think this is what is kind of fueling this kind of rumors, so that because people expect a lot from the opposition, given that the weird government, there are some people that are really not impressed with the work they're doing. What's your take?
Who's that question for me?
Mr. Coffey.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Let me first of all agree with Mr. Eastman there to a large extent. And the question that lingers in my mind as you posed this and as Tule was speaking was that what was the essence of them coming together under the CPP banner? What was the intent? The intent was that election is numbers. We got to come together so we don't split or dilute the votes, so that we can put up a strong and formidable opposition candidate against the ruling, right? So that was the intention. Unfortunately, the opposition spiraled into fighting and cussing among themselves and going to court and accusing each other. And we saw that the Liberian people beginning to have hope in the opposition coming together. That led to the Darius Dillon and the other people being elected. But subsequently, when the goodies started coming with all these elections, they started fighting among themselves. So, fast forward, the Supreme Court ruling provided them a clean opportunity. And of course, recently, the local election also provided an opportunity for them to step back and think together and come back with a united force, the same force that they intended to come back with. So if they are talking, for me, I welcome that talk. If they are trying to come back together, what I don't like is, why should Boakai issue a strongly worded statement at this time when all the things that have been happening in the country, he was not vocal? When he's even speaking, his microphone is low. His handlers are not handling him very well. Then at this time, because you hear rumors about you and Cummings talking, and you're issuing a strongly worded statement when you didn't issue strong worded statement against other things that are happening in the country that are impinging on our people. What is wrong with you having a conversation? What is wrong with the rumors? The intent is for the opposition to come together. So what is wrong with coming together? What is wrong with discussing?
All right. And that's a very good question, that because this is like Mr. Boakai is inviting Mr. Cummings to his wedding anniversary, and both of them have been friends. So I like the question you asked, what's wrong? But Mr. Tule, before I come to you, let's say best case scenario, Cummings and Boakai are able to meet and reconcile. And either there is a Cummings Boakai ticket, Boakai Cummings ticket, or one person bow out. If both come together and reconcile and put it together so that they be one again, what is the prospect that is the magic bullet that is going to make Mr. Weah a one-term president? Or it's just a little too late?
Nothing is late in politics. And no, Anthony said there, UP has, Joseph Boakai has no ability to command resources for the election campaign. We still too far away from 2023 to make those kind of prognostication. Candidates attract funding based on external sources, internal sources, looking at the election and looking at the viability of each candidate and making
their prospect, right?
Yeah,
I said looking at their prospect.
So we still far away to make the kind of.
We're looking at the prospect. We're looking at him. His core, his microphone is low. So
no, but understand something. If you're looking for a firebrand, if you're looking for somebody who will speak, with animation and to address issues the way you expect, he will address issue. But from as long as I've been knowing this man, he has never been a very loud individual. That's not his nature. He's not a loud person. I'm a loud person. Whether I'm on microphone or off microphone, I'm a loud person. He's a very thoughtful, calm individual. That's just his demeanor. Okay, but that's not the issue here. The issue here is this. For whether money, I'm not even looking at money, but I'm looking at Alex and Jimmy said something about synergy, about amalgamation of forces, about silencing. Because you see, what will happen is when bad blood is released, now we stay far away, Jimmy and Alex, we stay far away from the main event. So time heals all these different things. And understand something, in the midst of that, you're complaining now that Joseph Boakai released a statement. You know that in the midst of all the brouhaha within the CPP, he never spoke and condemned anybody. Even when he had to speak and talk about his differences with Alex Cummings, there was no animosity, there was no ambivalence in his speeches. So when you look at it from that perspective, you can see that he did not contribute to this. Who contributed to it are the external people, the supporters, having different stances and making different demands. Someone then say that Alex Cummings cannot go as vice to Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai should go as vice to Alex Cummings. But the reality here is this. even if Joseph Boakai cannot win local elections, district elections, or even county-wide elections in local
So
county.
for somebody to say you and you loving, I been able to issue plan this be hell of a statement.
Come again?
They say you and you loving, I mean very issues hell of a statement.
Yeah, you know, no, but Alex, let me go to that thing what you just raised just now. There is an individual that can pour fire in and destroy everything. So when something like that coming to happen, nobody even wanted to come outside. So you could say that statement was an agreed statement. If they are actually trying to talk, they had to put that thing outside there to stop the external forces from coming in again trying to spoil it. Because there are two major external forces in Liberia that are sworn not to see an amalgamation or uniting of forces between Ellis Cummings and Joseph Boakai and Ellis Cummings. Madam Salif on the one hand, George Weah on the other hand. George Weah has resources, Madam Salif has resources. So we have to look at that until they can iron out their differences and come together and bring things to one come on the same table. Right now, everybody playing cards on their own table.
Yeah, but Tule, my question here is coming together. What is it going to do to President Weah?
Oh, look, listen, I'm telling you today, whoever runs in this election, whoever can go second round will beat George Weah between Ellis Cummings, Tiawon Gonglo, and Joseph Boakai. Any one of them go with George. The reason is this, like I was answering from the beginning, there are real crises coming in Liberia. We see it on the horizon. And while Rome burns, George Weah coaches football, basketball games and stuff like that. So the guy runs away from the main responsibilities that he has and he follows distractions. So anybody coming, look, let me tell you something.
Thank you, Tule. I got it.
That is thing God giving you a hard time. That is thing.
I know. It's not because of him, man.
Right.
Alex, it's not because of him. It's
you're hoping on the failure of the guy. You're hoping on the failure of the guy.
But the guy has failed.
You're hoping on the guy doesn't the guy. That's why you're focusing on.
No, Alex,
let me go to my political guy.
Listen, I don't want to. But the guy,
hold on, Tule.
It is not on the opposition to hope for this guy to fail. This guy came to power on a clean slate. He had a blank check to write, and the guy decided he was going to write a check that would bounce. So right now, the people in the majority don't want this guy. It's the reality.
Thank you, Jimmy. Best case scenario: Cummings, Boakai reconcile. How does it affect the elections? Does it make Weah a one-term president, or it's too late?
I am of the staunch opinion that this election is for CDC to lose. And not only because of the incumbent, because of the charismatic appeal that President Weah has over our people. I like what Alex mentioned just now.
I didn't get that. You said this election is for the CDC to lose or win?
Yeah. That's what
to lose.
Said.
In other words, it's for them. They have to lose it. They have to do things to lose it.
Oh, okay.
It's not that the opposition can do so much to win, but they have to do things that will cause them to lose it. That's what it means. I say this election is for the CDC.
And Jimmy, you think they have not done enough to lose it?
And let me tell you why they have not done enough. Because one, just what we're talking about today, the opposition is not together. They've taken it. They were distracted and took the eye off the ball. And talk about what Alex said, they have not been speaking on the issues that affect everybody. Distracted in the infighting of several issues that were going across, affecting the everyday life.
Jimmy, you got to fix your microphone. We're having some feedback there. So let me go to Mr. C. Mr. C, best case scenario for Cummings and Weah. Do they win CDC?
I think you meant Cummings.
Best scenario for Cummings and Weah.
Then is the first thing. The first thing we must recognize here is that the possibility of them coming together is still likely, because that would be key in whatever potential that carries. Dennis, do these two men actually have the fortitude, the leadership to really pull this off? I am still questioning them, and I don't think they actually have it. Lord, Dennis, let me start with Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai's surrogate. Joseph Boakai's surrogates are dispirited by Joseph Boakai himself. Boakai is not a leader. This man wakes up in the morning and sits at rehab and does absolutely nothing. Who are his surrogates? Who are the people? Who are his handlers? This man is relying on Amin Munda. What does Amin Munda understand about Liberian politics? He relies on Colonel Kratuba, Moali. These as able lieutenants.
Let me point something out, because that statement is coded. When you say, what does Amin Munda understand about Liberian politics? I want to push back on that. What do you mean?
It means that Amin Munda.
It sounds discriminatory, like he's not. Okay, anyway, tell me what it means.
No, there's nothing discriminatory about that. Okay. We're talking politics here, and we're talking about the know-how, the strategies, and not only the strategy, executing the strategy timely and effectively so that it threatens your opposition or your competitors. Then let me say this. If you are an opposition, and if you are not seen as a threat to the current government, you are nothing. Let me say this again. The opposition should be the one threatening this. The CDC, the ruling government, has something here, that's the egg. If somebody has a glass in his hand that is so precious to them, and they see you as a strong man coming to attack, they will run. Right now, the opposition is of no threat to the ruling establishment. Why? Because of Cummings and because of Boakai. They are not political leaders who are strategic, who are strong. They constitute zero threat in terms of strategy. They have divided themselves. And so that is the reason I'm saying we should have to look at whether or not they can mend fences. And first of all, do they even see the need for mending fences? And are they prepared to do everything to mend fences? Do they even understand that mending fences is the goal? I mean, it's the silver bullet to achieving their goal. Do they understand that? Probably they do. But would they persist? Would they not be discouraged by their handlers? Because the handler thing is key. It was Boakai handlers who told him to pull away from the CPP. It was not Boakai's idea. That was Boakai's handlers. It was Cummings' handlers also who were,
How you know that it was not Boakai's idea?
Because I know.
No, you're wrong. That old man will never remain in a place of chaos.
Okay, let me tell you how I know. Let me tell you how I know. Let me answer your question.
Yes, sir.
First of all, it was Benny Nayure, Henry Costa, who having to be Boakai handlers, who said we must leave the CPP. They was the first who announced the need for them to depart from the CPP. Now, another supporter of Mr. Boakai is Vanisaki. When Mr. Boakai came to America, he said, you have to leave. It was after these statements by these so-called handlers who called themselves strategists when Boakai ultimately made the decision to leave.
Okay, Anthony, can I ask a question? What was strategic about being in a place in the CPP when you know full well that nothing well was happening there? It was only chaos. Would you have remained, if you were Joseph Boakai, would you have remained in the CPP with all the chaos when you knew? Wait, hold on, let me.
No, Mr. Tule, that's not the point. His point was Boakai did not take the decision by himself.
But then you don't know, because I can be Mr. Jai, Mr. CA. I can come to a rendering and be taking this decision under advisement, and people can make statements to lend credence to what I am already deciding. It's not because I think you keep making the mistake you keep making It's not because he's not vocal or he doesn't speak carelessly means that he doesn't have his own ability to think and make decisions. That is just preposterous to say it about him because you don't know him. Anybody could know that what was happening over there. Why you think he wasn't speaking? Why you think he really didn't? Look, the chaos. Oman Joe cannot operate in a place that is chaotic. Trust me on this. Yeah, you need surrogates to. Anyway, sorry, Anthony. Go ahead, sir. Sorry,
Anthony. Please end your points, and then we'll go to Prince and move to our next issue.
Dennis, it's sad that the one who claims to know Boakai knows zero about Boakai, and for him, Tule, to say that it was Boakai's decision. First of all, if Boakai cannot operate in chaos, why say Adole Ba and allow chaos to happen in the first place? Boakai, as a man, if he had decided to say to his handlers, we are not leaving the CPP, we will stay here because the CPP offers the best option to make him president. We are one-term president. Something Mr. Boakai, in his own words, said, we will plant our feet so deep in the CPP that victory would be the only option. But that very Boakai runs away like a chicken being chased by a fox in the morning. What kind of political leader he is?
And let me add let me add that to Tule. Let me follow up. You're saying Boakai cannot operate in chaos? Liberia is a chaotic country. It needs to be fixed.
No, that's not the kind of chaos.
Jimmy, please put that Liberia, which is a whole chaos by itself, that needs to be fixed. And if you can operate in a small party chaos, can you fix the chaos, Liberia? Tule, come on, man.
Okay, Mr. Covey, is that question? Can I come in? Can I answer? The problem in the CPP was not just, look, let me say this to you guys. The problem in the CPP wasn't just Ellis Cummings having disagreement with Benela Ure and Yombly and Joe Boakai. It was Madame Salif using ability to have negative influence on Cummings. Cummings was
no evidence to that. Tule accuses Madame Salif.
I'm not accusing
of all of the things in Liberian politics. There's no evidence to that whatsoever.
Like the same way you have no evidence that Joseph Boakai did not have. No, listen. The issue here is this. Madame Salif, everybody know that Madame Salif has said
you give this woman so much power now.
No, but she does. She can twist things in Liberia.
Under workings,
I was trying to answer the question, but you guys keep interrupting. Go ahead.
That Madame Salif under working, he can unravel versus.
No, it's not about that. Look, there's like this. Alex,
educational issues that are.
If you and I are supposed to work together, we're supposed to cooperate. If Dennis has said that he hates you, if Dennis has said that nothing good will come out of this aspiration of yours, and you know nothing hides in Liberia, and you know that I am conferring with Dennis, I take instructions from Dennis, and I'm not agreeable. You think you want to stay at that negotiation table?
Thank you, Mr. Tule. The same discussion came up this morning, and somebody said the same thing about Madame Salif. So I said, since Madame Salif was at the finance ministry, if she's the one that is doing everything, she recruited Thomas Kuangba and about him later on. She recruited Charles Taylor. She did all this. She recruited Boakai and said, come and be vice president. She recruited. If she is able to do all this with all the men and women sitting, then what we need to do, we should already crown Madame Salif as the goddess of the country. Then we all need to bow down and worship her. But that's not the case. So the idea that Madame Salif is going to program everything, coming from a corporate background, billeted for a rich business tycoon, and Madame Salif is the one just sitting and creating every chaos.
Dennis, can I come in?
Are you disagreeing with everything you said about Madame Salif? Are you disagreeing with everything you said about Madame Salif?
She doesn't have all that power. Is the
no, it's not. But she doesn't have. They should not do those things.
Did she force anybody?
But no, and not about whether she forced or not, but the fact is she was able to accomplish them. Are you saying she didn't do those things?
Because you are giving her too much for Prince.
No, but she did those things. She did those ththings. Bro, you go ahead.
Then Madam Salim should come back and rule the country until Prince. Go ahead. Boakai, first of all, the prospect of a Boakai Cummings reconciliation, and what effect is that going to have on 2023?
Thank you so much. And so when the CPP was formulated, I'm one person who have always said at that time that the CPP was an alternative for those who felt that the CDC government is not proceeding well and that there was a need, to have voted them out. And to do so, you need a force or combination of political actors. And then the coming together of the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the ANC, and the All Liberian Party are set down with our numbers on the radio that was an alternative for people who thought that way. And then before 2019, when the Sir Joseph won the by-elections, and then Darren Zelon went to replace him, but then the CPP was never formulated though, but the parties supported each other, and that had Zelon won. Then when the 2020 during the 2020 election, but then a document of the CPP was formulated, and then Prince Moy ran on the CPP ticket and others, and you saw how the election results were. In Bon County and even in Lofa County when Bernice Omoga won, it was because of the 4 political parties supported non-political candidates. Then when the CPP was together, you saw that the CDC, the current government, feet was on the fire. Honestly, in 2019, when the president released his State of the Nation address, as soon as the president's speech ended, the CPP had a press statement released. It was women people who read that press statement. That press conference was here, and the Liberty Party helped us. And the CPP, critiqued the statement of the president, and they came up with check and balances into what the president said. But then, it tells me at the time that the government was not just relaxing. But since the crisis started between the CPP and then other parties, political parties withdrew from the CPP. I tell you for true, Dennis, the government, the CDC government just relaxing.
Yeah,
of course, they're dancing Boakai, like you said. I'm not saying that you're saying it.
Hey, yeah. Dennis, can I come in?
No, I come in. Let me I'm not answering the question was whether it's possible, right? I don't know this on basis.
Yeah.
Then the next thing there was that the next I wanted to say was that with that you will see that the CDC government was always careful as to how to do things. But let me tell you for this, right? Let me tell you for sure. I, as a person, is not seeing the possibility of the two of the Cummings and Boakai coming together. I'm not seeing that possibility. You know why I say that?
Right.
During the process, there was too much wound. There was too much bitterness created. I mean, the Cummings were in court, and Boakai went to the court to testify. You know that.
Because he was
the Unity Party. Yeah, you are subpoenaed. I know that. The Unity Party was stopped to fix anything in Lofa County. They had to go to the Supreme Court, and the CPP said they can't do that. So those are bitterness that were created. And then the reason all of those things happen, I think that I know Ellis Truly was saying is because people, the extreme forces were been forcing their political leaders to do something other the way that the real vision of the CPP was. So I'm not seeing that possibility. But again, I'm maintaining that if they come back together, and that's the only way. I'll be surprised if the CPP does not come together for any one political party to unseat the Joshua government. I'll be very surprised in that person. The only way I'm not even seeing what people say that majority of Liberians are tired of the CPC government. I'm not even seeing that. If the CPP was together as it was, trust me, this just ended cabinet retreat in Nimba. It would have been critiqued by the CPP. But then they have released statement on that because you know how the cabinet victory was, where a cabinet minister takes the stand and talk for 5 minutes. Then what's the essence of you going there to explain to people how you work for the years and what you achieved? So I'm not seeing that possibility. I really think that because there's no trust for me. That's my opinion. I don't see the trust anymore.
Thank you. And I think even if they came together today, it will still be undermined by their surrogates, who most of them are prone to listen to. I don't see that independence, the independent mindedness in both leaders.
Yeah.
That's a good segue into the UP convention that is slated to take place in Banga. Tule, you are not UP, so I'm not expecting you to go there. But it started with announcing money, and there is a kind of contention among them. Say, well, this money is just too much, 7,500, 2,500, 3,000 to run on a ticket of a political party. I thought that was absurd. But Mr. Coffey, what do we expect from the Unity Party convention? What should we expect? And especially starting with this money issue, the Cummings Boakai meeting, disintegration of the CPP. People, it seems to me that everybody want to be elected on white ballot. That's why they are going their separate ways. What should we expect?
I think to answer your question, I think in my mind, there are for the opposition. There are 3 scenarios, especially for the breed of CPP parties. There are 3 scenarios. The other continue the conversation for Boakai to have the ticket and Cummings serve as a vice. That's the first scenario. The second scenario is for Cummings to have the ticket and Boakai back off, and he have the option to select the person that will go as VP to Cummings. The third option is they agree that they should peacefully go their separate ways. Election is contest. They can back at each other when the contest starts. But this whole fighting against each other and trying to bring each other down, as if to say this whole election, the presidential election in Liberia, is between Cummings and Joseph Boakai. They should, when they get to the ground, they should take their message to the Liberian people, why they are the better alternative to the current establishment. So in that light, in the third option, yes, they should go for the convention. There's nothing wrong with them going for the convention. It's normal party practice. I mean, if they were selecting option number 1 or option number 2, then they will go the CPP way. But if they're selecting option number 3, then there's nothing wrong with going for the convention. And if there's white ballot, it's white ballot. I mean, it happens.
How about the money they are charging? 7,500 for Mr. Sia, give me those numbers. 7,500
for the stand-up barrel. Then they are also asking for the figures here. 7,500 for stand-up barrel, 5,000 for national chairman, 3,500 for all vice chairman, 3 of them they have, 2,500 for national secretary, then 1,000 for deputy secretary, 2 of them, then national treasurer, 2,000, then for national vice chairman for youth, for women, they are charging 1,000, and then for vice for the youth and the women wing, they're asking for 750, and these are all United States dollars.
And on top of that, you have to pay your dues.
Then on top of that, you have 4 years of meeting due from 2018 to 2022.
Right. And if they are lucky to have someone like Musa Belete, if you don't pay your dues, you know what's going to happen. So Mr. Coffey, what do you think about?
Recently, the Election Commission increased the fees for people who aspirant who wanted to run, who wanted to register to run. and there was some outcry about it being expensive. So I see that the figures that Anthony just read, they're a little bit too on the high side. Why it is true that I believe that it is on the high side, maybe they're using that to raise funds. Maybe it's the fundraising. Unlike
But what does
ANC
it
that
say
raises
about
funds.
democracy in
I mean,
such an
ANC
economy?
is better for raising funds all the time to meet some places they raise funds.
But
So I think
if you use that amount as a prerequisite to vying for office, okay, so you're going to just have rich people vying for office. Where does that leave our democracy?
that's why I said the election commission increased fees and people complain because it's too high. Now United Party, the opposition party, is increasing their fees. I said that it is too high. I'm not.
I think.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't want
to. My thought process is maybe they're using that to raise funds. That's why I give the analogy with ANC. So what I was trying to say is that if it is for fundraising, then United Party should look for a better way to raise funds.
Thank you. Prince, you wanted to ask something, then we'll go to Jimmy.
Yes, I just wanted to make a correction. The increment of the of registration for candidates or political actors was not done by the NEC. It was done by the legislature, not the NEC. That was the legislature.
Okay. Thank you for that correction.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what are we checking for in this Unity Party, convention?
What I've noticed in the whole UP candidacy.
They are blaming the chairman. I mean, Mudar, they say, you doing this. He's a businessman.
Yeah, it is a question of leadership, Dennis. With all the other people in the party, the VP Boakai has to take leadership, and he has to manage the party. It can't be managed for him, because the people will try to take the party off course, and it's his candidacy, so he has to manage it. I always believe that the CPP was his vessel to possible presidency. But what he had to do, I mean, I understand Mr. Tula's argument that political manipulators in the back, but despite that, there's always going to be that. And if I could quote Houphouët Boigny once says, "C'est l'homme qui a peur, sinon il n'y a rien." He said, people are afraid. Otherwise, there's nothing. There's nothing to be afraid of. It was just fear of what the conniving that's going on in the background. But if Joseph Boakai had gone to the convention and defeated Cummings, it would have been his vessel to the presidency. But now, with this convention, he has to regroup them. He has to set a vision for the party. He has to speak to the issues that affect people. This is not. It cannot be a coronation. You are vying for the leader of the country. That means you have people issues at heart. What are those issues? You have to speak on those issues. And it has to be highlighted in every speech you make. People have to believe that you're going to bring about change. People have to know what your plan is. People have to understand the goals you are setting, so they can believe in you. But when you're not doing these things, and you're too calm about it, then people don't know what to do. It's for him to manage, and he has to be the spokesman for the everyday person. That's what he has to do. So this convention could be good if he knows how to manage it.
Mr. Tula, it could be good if you know how to manage. This convention, is it because from all indication, the UP has been having some problems. We have heard of the Ellen wing and the Boakai wing. They has not been able to come together. You continue to allude to the fact that the former standard bearer is bent on making sure that Mr. Boakai does not become president. Now will this convention rejuvenate the UP? What you make of the exorbitant money being charged, or is Madame Salif responsible again?
Dennis, you pack too many things together, so I will unpack it one based on the layers
Let's
that
start
are.
with Madame Sally. What role she
Yeah,
played?
but I'm saying, you see, Dennis, the greatest mistake and the greatest you just committed one of the crimes in Liberian politics by underestimating the evil this woman is capable of concocting and executing on our body politic. This woman, bro, she's been there for over 50 years, committing chaos, responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands. I'm telling you, do not underestimate her. Or rather, do not underestimate the gullibility, all right, and the fickle-mindedness of Liberian men who have followed a half-educated swindler to destroy their country on several occasions.
Who are you talking about? President Sally?
Madam Sally ain't got a master's degree. She lies that she get a master's degree. The woman, look, even her graduate degree. Let's go back to the graduate degree. Don't forget about degree business. I'm not gonna go through that discussion.
Yeah.
But
I'm little uncomfortable with the description.
Be uncomfortable as you can. But the reality is, when that woman one day will hold an inquest on the reality or the realities of who Madam Sally actually is in Liberia. Be uncomfortable as you like it to be. But this woman has managed to fool everybody. People call her the Harvard trained economist.
But Mr. Tule, does that has Mr. Boakai been able to articulate this?
No. One of the problems with Uncle Joe that I have right now, and I will back. You see, for me, this is one of the things about my
12 years with this woman. The way you are describing her, I'm scared.
Then how?
Well, Joe Boakai was with this woman for 12 years.
Yes.
And they are so much like night and day.
But he stood against these. Why you think she ostracized and marginalized him to the level that she did? Because he wouldn't just support all her policies the way she wanted it to be done. He will call, and Madam Sally, one of the greatest things you can do to Madam Sally, that you cause her to be your enemy, is to disagree with Madam Sally, especially in the presence of others.
Let me hear from Alex.
No, okay, but you asked me a question.
I want to stay on this. Just hold it. I want to.
Okay,
Alex, you work with Madame Salif. I mean, the way Tula is describing her, is that the person you know?
You know, I don't know where Tule is going with this. We are discussing about the GMB ABC possible remarriage. We are discussing the UP convention. We are talking about Joseph Boakai, who is aspiring to be president of this country. And when I hear Tule talking about working, he used the word chaos, so I follow suit. So I continue to think why Tule is so bent on focusing on Madam Salif and her underworkings. Now, if you can't unravel that underworking one way or the other and achieve the objective of becoming a successful aspirant, then I don't know where Tule is going with this. I really don't know where Tule is going.
Okay, Mr. Coffee, let me just give you, because I believe in living examples, right?
Let's leave the Ellen business and let's go to the
Unity Party. But let me just make it one.
Let's go to the Unity Party convention.
Amos Sawyer. Let me just tell you the men that followed Ellen everywhere she went, everything she wanted, she got it from them. Amos Sawyer was one of those. Toga Gabriel McIntosh is another man like that. I'm talking about educated men. You know, Ellen was.
And you're not going to name Joseph Boakai?
Huh?
You're not going to name Joseph Boakai of those who follow
but
Ellen?
He became. Understand something now. Joseph Boakai became vice president for Madam Salif, and Joseph Boakai did the unthinkable in the Ellen sphere.
No, but what was the thing that Joseph Boakai ever disagreed with Ellen on?
Oh, a lot.
Give me examples.
A lot. Especially when it came to the first place they fell apart, they started falling apart was with the concession agreements. I remember the safeguard agreement. The reason why I bring it up today to you, the reason why I bring it up to you today, because Bofa Chambers, if you can ask Prince can go, Bofa Chambers told me, because that time when it happened, Bofa Chambers was the head of the UP caucus. He was the head of the UP caucus, and then he broke away and became my friend. He had Ketakume Mori. So when he became my friend, that's how he told me all the inner workings that drove them apart.
Thank you.
I'm telling you today, Joseph Boakai was a darling. But then when he started disagreeing with some of the things that you're doing, the way you're doing it, a typical example again. One thing that happened with just between
let me
get a second thing quickly. The Conway Road. Joe Mulba, a young Liberian engineer, won the contract to do the Conway Road. Joe Mulba, before when he got the Turkish people, he had foreign backers, they got equipment on the ground, everything. Madam Salif and her son took the contract from Joe Mulba and gave it to Chico. You know who was caught in the middle of that? Oman Joe. Uncle Joe was caught. So there are many things, bro. You ask a question, I won't give you an answer, and you said, no, let's move on. Okay, let's move on now.
All right, Mr. C. I'm talking about the money. I'm talking about what we're going to get from this convention. I'm talking about whether it's going to be able to revive and rejuvenate the UP.
Dennis, whether or not the convention will revive, rejuvenate, and invigorate the UP, no, it will not. I even see that as a potential source of conflict, because if we should believe Tule for his salient arguments that he's making here, that Manasali is bent on nailing Joseph Boakai to not succeed, then this is one of those perfect opportunities that she can use, right? So she may go in there if Tule argument is anything to look into. But then it's on a serious note, no. I mean, what is there to rejuvenate the UP? Because Abu Munda will not be elected, or Joseph Boakai is going to be coronated. He will be the same Joseph Boakai. I mean, who are the individual vying for the positions in the first place? Dennis, do you know them? I know them. They are not exciting. They don't have it. They don't even have the money to contest in the first place. That's the first source of conflict. Now, we have a guy called Kanga. The guy is saying, hey, these fees are so exorbitant. These seats are up for sale to the highest buyer, many of whom are now strong Unity Party partisans. These are people probably have been on the fence that are going to come in and sway the party in another direction against Joseph Boakai. Does Joseph Boakai have money to give to candidates that he would prefer? No, he does not have money to do so. It would even be a challenge for Boakai himself to raise the $7,500.
Oh, stop that. What's wrong with you, man?
Tule, stop interrupting, man. Can you control yourself a little bit?
That's a preposterous statement. That's $7,500.
Can you at least control yourself?
How can you say $7,500? A man who was vice president for 12 years cannot pay $7,500. Stop that thing, man.
And yet he took loan after 1 year leaving office.
Oh, brother.
Tule, just hold on. Let Anthony come.
Let the Tule man be controlled, man. People are having a civil discussion here. You just interrupt.
When you can just talk things that ain't got no basis in reality.
Then let me learn, then you can come in.
Let me finish. Write it down. You got a pen, right?
Yeah, I'll write it down.
So Dennis, there's nothing that's going to, rejuvenate the Unity Party. It will remain the same Unity Party. Expect to hear noise and confusion, mainly based on these fees that's being charged. And some of the contestants, some of them who will lose, they will cry wolf. They will say that, well, the seats were, literally sold to people who have money, and the intent was to get us out. All right, that is the noise you're going to get. Now, this is the Unity Party, Dennis, that is introducing yet another phenomenon in our democracy. It was their very Unity Party, when it took power, was paying people in salaries in the tune of 15, 12,000, as we heard. And the justification was that these people were brought in by the international community. But the money was sent for Liberia, and on Ellen's watch, And Boakai's watch, these people were being paid this amount of money, and they had no reason to say, no, we are just coming from war. There are people who don't even have coming to eat. And one person is working with this kind of money, they will not sit there. I mean, they will sit there and do nothing. Now, the very United Party and Boakai being in the Senate, they were given brown envelopes. That's how they got the concession agreement passed. Boakai did not alter any national statement on that, except for he and Cummings about to talk now, he releasing statement. This is Boakai. And this is the very United Party that is introducing another fees in our country to sell the party position to the highest bidder. Now, if the goal here is to raise money, how much money you're going to raise? If you do the calculation, then this thing is not even going to put you at 250,000 United States dollars. This is a party that can't even pay pool watchers. We heard that there was 10,000 being given by somebody, and that some of the party's leaders, Mo Ali, they didn't even pay some of the pool watchers. They didn't even send pool watchers to other places. So this convention is not going to help the United Party. It's just a waste of time.
Thank you. You raise a very important point that if you introduce money like this, I'm afraid because before the CPP could finally disintegrate, Alexander Cummings were being accused of what they call cash violence. That's why we're bringing about this black voting and all that he was going to give people money. I'm afraid people are all still going to say Alexander Cummings went in the United Party and sponsor candidates that he can control. That is coming.
And this is the United Party that can't pay its dues. It could not pay its dues in the CPP. That got evicted from the party headquarters. Did Joseph Boakai have money in that time?
But let Ellis have his last word on this, and then we move to our next topic. Mr. Coffey.
This is, I mean, based on what some of the things that I picked from Anthony. It's looking at, for example, looking at the Lofa election, right? There was this thing there about Unity Party not being able. I don't know how true is that, but Unity Party not being able to put a poll watcher at some area, some voting precincts that probably led to some of the things that some of the mishaps that may have happened. Now, so you're talking about a situation where the party is charging all this money. Like I said, it's a form of. It may be a form of why the figures are exorbitant. It may be a form of fundraiser for United Party. But I say that they should try to look for different ways to raise funds. All right, and with all these people going on wet ballot and stuff like that. Again, it tells a lot that energy is being depleted. So the Unity Party got to wise up. They got to strengthen up. The opposition as a whole has to wise up. That's what I would say.
Prince, what any update on what the Unity Party is doing there? Anything? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a statement released about session of the Unity Party. I think that was on. Let me see the statement release. Sorry, I'm trying to get it. It was on July 19th. And so the issue with the fees for those who want to contest for various positions in the Unity Party, I do not think that amount will hold water, because there was a statement released on the Unity Party on the 19th. Not the party in totality, but a session of the partisans, and that was the Team Mudai. That's how they call themselves, Team Mudai, and that statement was read by Ko Bangalu, and the secretary of the party. In that statement, I guess in the soft capital tennis and swimming. In that statement, they are calling on the delegates that will be contesting. That will be going to vote in Banga to vote for Ambassador Joseph Boakai as a standard bearer, to maintain Mo Ali as Secretary General, to maintain Amin Mudai as national chairman, Ben Fofana, and others cannot took part to go to another position. Everything is there. I can't read through them, but I think if Anthony has the time or Jenny has the time, you'll read through it. So the issue with the catch, the 7,005 and this and that, when it came out, honestly, it was challenged by many of the partisans, like Amos Tuwe and many other challenge on the radio. So I think that has been buried already. Again, I'm going to show you that, because if that was not buried, the names of the individual that was called on the team would die, like Colonel Kra, other people. I mean, because even at the end of the press conference, we didn't ask any question, because those are questions that was late as to whether they are prepared to pay the amount that has been in the public or in the media. And jokingly, before the press conference started, some people said, I mean, we have our party, we decide what to be done, no one will teach it to us. So those are some of the side attraction talks.
Where is this coming from? Who is proposing this amount? Because if Amin Muda, who's the chairman, now we're coming up with our team Muda, where they already have kind of thinking about white ballot. Who brought about
that's why they don't allow the journalists to ask. So those are questions we are asked, because he's a chairman, right?
Right.
And he should have paid sending among the vice person who is then named as the Senate branch should have paid 7,005. But then if this team Muda can come with this press statement and then naming all the people that you see here, for example, you see Ahmed Muda, national chairman, Joseph Yima Boakai, Senate bearer, Daba Mambadi Babla, the senior national vice chair and vice chair for administration, Honorable Ben Ifofana, national vice chair for governmental affairs and international relations, Colonel Kra Tupa, national vice chair for inter-party relations and national election commission affair and blah blah blah. So the question now is, where did that figure come from at the time? But like I said, I'm sure because of the public outcry in the local media in Liberia, even those in the diaspora, that has been buried again. That's why I can assume, because with the list you see, if you're there, it tells you that those are almost like white ballot, like you are saying. And of course, they're going to be. I might be white ballot because they dedicate themselves, might be in fear of what happened put up by this team would die. And the cabinet chairman for that is Ko Bangalo.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are live on Prime FM 105.5. The issues we are discussing, the Unity Party Convention, possible Boakai Cummings reunion. We also discuss the one we are coming to now is the Student Unification Party. July 26th is coming. You have gotten messages, my 26th on you. SUP is saying, the Student Unification Party is saying there is no need to celebrate. We are suffering. Take a listen at one of their rallies. The Student Unification Party, the Vanguard Student Unification Party. Anthony, what does SUP want?
Dennis, the protest being planned is on the theme, face the country. I read someone modified, said, face the damn country. You know, this is anger about what the conditions are in Liberia. I believe strongly that these young people are not feeling the change the CDC promised. They are not feeling, the hope that the CDC promised. In fact, they are seeing completely different things, especially when it comes to economy, their living standard, the challenges they are having, moving from one place to another, finding daily meals. They are impacted. Tule suggested that we talk about the whole food thing. That is a huge, thing that is impacting the young people in Liberia. And they also see that the government is joking. I think that's how they see it. They see the president dancing. They see or events being planned, by the government where they're spending a lot of money, why they are finding it difficult, to eat. They see budgets year after year that is budgets allotting more money to the president and all other government officials and little to them, the young people. That's what they see. So they see a country that is not being fixed. They are calling for the country to be fixed, and the way they can channel that anger that is in them right now, or that they feel because of all the things that I've listed, is to protest. They believe that is the loudest way they can register their disapproval of what is going on in the country. So these young children, they are energized. But the question I want to leave with here is the protest going to change anything, or will it be another protest that is dead upon arrival?
Prince?
Yes.
How is this whole news about protest? Soup is going to protest. From the days we were in elementary school, Soup has been in national politics and sometimes protests. They've been very vocal. This time around, what is the mood? What is the atmosphere? Is this being talked about? And are people afraid? Are they backers of Soup in the community? Say, yes, come and do it. We need this. What is the story?
No, I don't think so. And honestly, I mean, as a matter of fact, I call the legislature, so I will release the entire press statement been released by Soup. But I do not think Liberians now are interested into sets of protest. I'm not seeing more momentum on that. And I mean, as a matter of fact, Soup doesn't even need people on their side to do their thing. However, they can get into other protests organized. For example, the June 7 protest, and the Bring Back the Money protest, and other protests they were actually into it. But with this one that they planned for July 26th, I'm not seeing any momentum on that. I do not even think it might be possible. And then the underlying factor there is that what can protest change now? Because we have a series of protests. Even we, the media, we have protests. We presented petition to this government for violence against journalists. Up to now, that was in 2020, March, I'm sure. We are yet to get a report from that.
So Prince, a protest is not getting momentum simply because the people think that nobody's going to listen to them, or is it because they don't believe that things are as hard as Soup is making it to sound?
Things are hard. The realities are on the walls, but people feel that there's going to be no result. And at the end of the day, you might be handled by state security, and you might just waste your time and your energy.
Julie, is a protest justified?
The protest is justified, and the protest goes against what Jimmy was saying from the beginning, that this government stands the election. This government's to lose. The protest is very, very justified, very, very justified, because most children in universities in Liberia, they have to transport themselves. They have to eat while they're out of the home, right? And as the day goes by, they find that the purchasing power of the dollar, Liberian dollar, keeps reducing. That means you are using more Liberian dollar. You're getting less Liberian dollar for US dollars. But then even when you get that Liberian dollar for US dollar, less is more in volume, but it's less in terms of purchasing power. And then when you get that money, you gotta buy. So kobo that people used to buy for $50. Prince, how much for one bowl of kobo right now?
Friend,
honest question. It's an honest question. I don't know.
Yeah, the prices are very honestly. At the least now would be $200. That's the least.
You see. So
as a result, if you eating
what Prince $200?
Yes, that's the least. If you eating $150, yes, Lababido. If you want to eat food that we are eating in Monrovia, we're talking about $500.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The reason I raised this issue because the frustration keeps mounting, right? And these young people, and look, let me say this though. Because our governments do not fear the resolve of the people in Liberia, they rule the way they do.
But do the people have resolve? Right now, what Prince is saying is...
that's what I'm saying now. Okay, so our people don't even have resolve. And I'll go back again. I'll piggyback on what I said again about a whole generation of educated men selling and prostituting themselves to the influence of Madam Salif.
Oh, too late.
No. Hold on. Bro, I spent my years studying this woman, not just talking because I want to talk.
So if President, God forbid, President Salif dies today, the issue will go away.
Come again?
God forbid, President Salif dies today. What happens?
But the fact is, she's already had her imprint on Liberian politics. She already had her imprint on Liberian history. We would not have had a war if Madam Salif wasn't alive. Simple as that.
Oh my God.
It's the truth. It's the truth. There was nobody to harness. She took the dossiers to the U.S. Congress. She created the ambivalence and the international ambivalence against Anyway, look, my point there is this.
Bro, how do you do to you? Bro,
it's wicked. Look, it annoys me that you guys are sitting here trying to absolve her of what she had done to us. The 1985 coup, I agree, Dole was not the perfect leader, but the 1985 coup was Madam Salif.
Can you look at Tule's conclusion here that we are absolving Ellen Johnson Salif of all of her excesses?
Yes,
that's his conclusion.
That's one of my conclusions.
Because
Let's go back to the soup thing. Where we are in Liberia today.
But I think
where we are in Liberia today.
Tule, you are making a blanket statement that is not true. By using a joke does not mean we are absorbing Madam Salif or anything she's done to the country.
Okay, Alex. I don't want an argument on this issue. But what I've said to you is this: it's well chronicled. Is well established. Tom Warren, you spoke of it. A lot of other men have spoken of it, including my late father spoke of it, about her influence and the things that she had done in the past. My mentor, Charles Bronski, spoke of it. People who know Ellen Johnson Salif, what she had done, they spoke of it. So whether you guys agree or not, it doesn't matter to me right now. What matters here is this. We're talking about a protest in our country and the resolve. That's why I went to Ellen. Because resolve, Liberia, we do not have resolve. And until our politicians, including anyone that I support, because let me tell you this, even if I support a man, he become president tomorrow, and the Liberian people get him carte blanche, and they do not stand to voice their misgivings based on what he does that is against his constitutional fiduciary responsibilities, he will do it more and more and more and more and more. And why? Because we are afraid. We are afraid of returning to war. It shouldn't be about war, but it should be about, look at Sri Lanka. When the people felt that the fiscal policies were not helping them, hunger, the price of fuel, unemployment, everything, they chased the government from power. I'm not saying chase the government, but stand up and let the people who empower the national legislature are doing the things they are doing, Dennis. The national legislature, they are even more criminal-minded than the president of the Republic of Liberia. Two of them in the same boat. But my point there is, until the people can stand together in unity and demand better from these politicians, our country is doomed.
Well, don't you think Madam Salif will stop the people?
I like the statement you made about the legislature.
Ellen will not stop the people, Tule?
What? Come again, bro?
Don't you think Ellen will undermine the people too? Just according to you,
if a leader wants to come that will hold Madam Salif responsible for the war and the things that she has done, she will undermine that leader.
Yeah,
and you know why? The reason why she succeeds, is because of feckless men who are fickle-minded, who cannot stand.
I thought you couldn't hold the man responsible. Jimmy, you are laughing, but Jimmy, let's go to soup. You were in the vanguard as well. And you were one of those who worked with President Doe after the 1980 coup to the executive mansion.
That's right.
These things are not strange to you. What is going on with soup here? And what they are doing, is this something that we really need in this country?
There's something unique about this call, but first let me say I love to hear the students speak, because the students speak about everyday issues, the things that affect the everyday lives of Liberians. If we pay attention to these things and know how to address it, could improve the lives of our people, because they never talk about things that are so off base. They serve as a conscience to us, and it's very important that we listen to them and we manage their concerns. What Tule is talking about, Madam Salif was very good at managing. She used to deal with them directly. But there's something they're saying in this protest that or this declaration I have never heard before. They are saying they're going to affect a citizen's arrest on those who they found guilty of certain issues and crimes. I have never heard them say that before. How are they going to go about doing that? Arresting officials? I don't know if you heard some of the things they're saying. That is what their declaration is this today. I have never heard that before, you know. And I've been amongst those guys when, it used to be scary. But I have never heard them say that they will affect the arrest, a citizen's arrest on officials. So I think this is a good opportunity for the president to talk to them, discuss these things, the things that are concerning them. Because like I said, these people, there are everyday issues that affect our people, and we can't ignore them, because they are a movement. They talk to their parents, they talk to their sisters, their brothers. They can propagate all kinds of popularity or unpopularity. So what these guys are saying, you need to meet with them, listen to what it is, and try and have a way of managing them. But this is my first time hearing something like this. I've never heard that before.
Thank you. If you want to take part in the conversation, please call the number on the screen, 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403. If you are in Monrovia, call our local number there at 0770-1051. 0770-1000.
Dennis?
Yeah, go ahead. Announce our local number, sir.
Yeah. Let's use this one for tonight. 07770-95-95-8. 07770-95-95-8. Let's use this for tonight. 07770-95-95-8. 07770-95-95-8 is the local line you can call, and I'm going to put you through so you can have your say on the show. If you have a question or concern, you can raise it with the team there in the US. They're going to answer them. Once again, the number is 07770-95-95-8. 07770-95-95-8 is the number.
Thank you. And Alex and Anthony, what I'm coming to you here is how invisible hands played in student politics, and also how the government they're trying to fight normally fights back, sometimes with money.
I think we got a call out.
Yeah.
I think we got a call out here.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me end my thoughts here. So what we see here is right now there is an independent soup, because the government is not going to sit down. There's an independent soup. Some say this group is being engineered by Major Koji. The government has somebody also told me that since the government introduced money into FLA, the Federation of Liberian Youth, that entity is almost non-existent. And they continue to do that to entities. And so they have infiltrated the Student Unification Party or campus-based politics as well. Other opposition parties are doing the same thing. So let's look at the influence of big hands among the students. But before that, let's take that call from Monrovia. As William would say, put that question in your pocket. Prince, let's hear from Monrovia.
Hello, caller. I'm good. Your name, where you call us from?
Prince, we're not hearing.
Dennis, can you get a caller?
Not at all. Not at all.
Dennis, are you getting the caller?
No.
Not at all. We're not hearing anything.
Are you hearing us?
Dennis, that
He's
without
not
your
hearing us.
caller.
Hello, hello, how you doing? What's her name?
Prince, we can hear the caller.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Prince is not even hearing us.
So, Alex.
Dennis, get in now?
No.
Prince, are you hearing us?
Hello?
We don't hear him.
Dennis, are you getting the caller?
No.
Are you hearing us, Prince?
I'm getting you. Are you getting the caller now? I see you.
Oh, no. We are not getting the call either.
All right, Prince, hold on. Let me take a call here from the States. Caller, Evans Morris, you are live. Go ahead. Question or comment?
Thank you so much, Mr. John. And thank you for the show tonight. You know, I just want to make a quick comment, and then I'll ask Mr. Tule a question at the end. You know, I would be so happy, you know, maybe I would even shed tears if the JMB would come on and give a press conference and say that he's stepping down for running for the presidency due to old age, and that his body just can't take it anymore. There's no shame inside. A father time, catch up with everybody. You know, some of us will hope to reach that one day. I will even cry that day because it would be such a magnanimous act and a patriotic act for the country. You know, but people like Mr. Tule, for you to sit on this platform, a strong man from Lofa County, crying on the old man that she's stopping your papi from being president of Liberia, is a big shame to all the men in Lofa County. It's a big shame to them.
No, it's a shame to you. It's a shame to you.
Can the man in,
No,
please?
he will not finish. Listen, he will not finish because nobody will come on the show.
No, we gotta protect the caller here, Tule. We gotta protect the caller.
Hold on, Tule. Go ahead.
Caller, continue.
Yeah, let me
continue.
I can't be praising you now, Mr. Tule. I was just saying the second part is that you're right about her involvement in some of the things that she did during the war and how she instigated the war. You're right on that part. You're talking true, but you gotta be strong at the same time. You can't let a woman live in your hair rent free. As men, you gotta be strong. You can't let that woman live in your hair rent free. But just to get to my last point, Unity Party is a disgrace of a former ruling party. The Pape came online and said that he broke after 12 years. He said it with Mr. C. I'm not saying it out of nowhere. He said, I broke. I lived on loans. So when he said to the people, I think on T-Mac show, he said he living on loans. How can a former vice president who said for 12 years live on loans? That's a national security risk. People can compromise with loans. You know, that's a disgrace.
Thank you.
You know, so Mr. Tule, I just want to ask you if JMB came and said he was stepped down, so the younger generation can take over the country and compete against we are, and they will have a
You don't have any right to ask me any question. I will not respond to you.
Will you support it? Thank you again. I will take Mr. Tule answer off the line. Thank you so much for taking my call, Mr. J.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about the influence, the outside influence. Mr. Coffee, let me start with you.
Yeah, you know, so demonstration in like the way I answer the question.
Can you imagine that?
First of all, let me speak to Mr. Tule about his comment he made about us supporting or absorbing Madam Salif of things that she may have done to the country. We're having a conversation about the topics are clear. We're talking about GMB, ABC marriage. We're talking about Unity Party convention, and so our responses to you is within that context. Now you keep pivoting towards Ellen every opportunity you have. We don't think that this conversation is all about her. So because we figure that you're derailing the conversation towards that end, we have to bring you back. So that is the context on which we are trying to address you, not to support whatever Ellen did or she didn't do. So that let me get that point across. Now, demonstration. If you look at today, since my early time to weird time, possibly the biggest demonstration we've had is the June 7th, which to some extent succeeded a lot in terms of creating the public awareness and everything with the international press. But at the end of the day, the actual objective, the actual purpose of the demonstration kind of dwindled towards the end. The only time I've seen demonstration as a kid growing up in Liberia is before the war. During Doe time, when we entered LU, we saw all kinds of demonstration. We saw from 1979, in fact, I was an early teenager at that time. We saw one of the biggest demonstrations, the Rest Riot and all those stuff. But after the war, Liberians have become a little timid about demonstration and the possibility of anything that will lead us to a war situation. And if you're talking about people, things that are underplaying, leaders also use the fact that, the person trying to take us back to war is somebody trying to demonstrate for what they're feeling, the pinch that they're feeling, would try to sway the person to that direction, or we try to accuse the person that the person is bringing war. Underneath too, governments have the way of creating this parallel situation to compete. Now imagine a student body that, quote unquote, that's supposed to be having free tuition, and yet instead they are not happy. So instead of addressing these students' problem, we are creating all these parallel situations. Unfortunately, it appears as these days, Liberians don't have the guts, to demonstrate for what is right. Demonstration is a right giving. You don't have to break the country down to demonstrate. You don't have to bring war to demonstrate, but you can demonstrate. We've seen other countries being shut down by demonstrators. Recently it happened, and they didn't have to kill. Of course, when little stampede come here and there, but they didn't have to shoot. They didn't have to pick up guns to shoot anybody. So demonstrations are within the fabric of human living, and if people feel aggrieved, they should demonstrate to the fullest.
Yeah. Prince, do we have callers on the line?
Yeah, let's try this one. I don't know what's happening with the line. Hello? Okay, I think you went off the
I don't
line.
know why you go into that call when we can't hear anybody. We're not going to hear anybody. Why you go into that? It's not going to get better. We've been down this road before.
It's okay.
Hello?
Don't be frustrated too much.
How you doing?
Go ahead.
So you can get in at all. It's Dennis.
Go ahead. Take the call and you read it to us.
Make a point.
Seriously?
Go ahead, brother.
Dennis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Let the brother talk. That's what we are talking, right? This is Monrovia. This is our country. This is a reflection. So it's part of the show.
Go ahead. Go ahead and make your point now. You already on.
Prince, let's hear from the caller. All right, let me take.
Thank you.
Now go ahead, Prince. What the caller said.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll try this one.
No, Prince,
you gotta talk about the first one first, bro.
Talk what the first caller said.
Yeah, the caller is complaining that I mean, whether Boakai is old or not old, I mean, he has a right to contest, and I mean, we shouldn't be putting Cummings more important than Boakai. And then on the other hand, those who support Cummings shouldn't think that Cummings is the only man that should be president. So that was a concern. So like, I don't know why the call is not coming through the line today. I don't know. Another call is yet to them. Good evening.
Let me take a call from.
I'm good. What is your name, brother?
Prince, just listen to the call.
I got one more there.
Prince, hold on.
Yeah,
listen to the caller.
Yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
Listen to the caller so you can tell us. Let me get a call here. Keseli Double, you are live.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Cha. And
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Just mute Prince, Dennis.
I'm asking the question about as to whether the protest by the students is justified. That's what prompted me to call.
Yeah, sure.
But John, you and I know that with the living condition right now in Liberia, any protest against bad governance is justified. If you listen to the count of the students, which according to them were even limited, they had to reduce it to some count. They are all justified. You have bad governance in Liberia. People are being murdered. You have a finance minister who will come over every day and say the economy is good, but yet he will go to the road for money and credit money to pay salary every year. The finance minister who will go ahead and do the job of the legislature when the legislature themselves will not even speak to it. A finance minister who will not be cited by the legislature for doing their job, who will violate the Constitution and go with impunity. Every protest right now against bad governance in Liberia is justifiable. The living condition of the people is terrible, it's deplorable. And I think the best thing we can do is to keep protesting. Even if they will play ignorant to you, they will pretend like they are not hearing it. But the international community, they will know that we did something. We fought in history with George, all of us. History was not people that we just sat there and just listen while things were going on by. So the protest on behalf of the students, I think is justifiable, and I'm in 100% support of it.
Thank you.
And I hope that every good Liberian, well-meaning Liberian, should support them to do what they are doing. And I hope that all counties, all the 15 counties will come out there to help them do what we are doing to speak against bad governance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Jimmy, I think, I don't know if we reached that point of actually coming out to say what we want to say. And the whole idea of protestation has been so demonized that when you talk of protest, you are being seen as someone who wants to cause war.
Yeah.
And this is not good for our democracy. What's your take?
Very good. You know, protest is a right. It's a fundamental right of a citizen of a country. But there's many things to consider. The slightest little disturbance in Liberia, the whole town shuts down. When the whole town shuts down, the economic activities shut down. And when economic activities shut down, we're already in a state where there's not enough economic activity, and then to make it even reduce, it may add to our plight. So when we hear about these protests, we feel, yes, you have the right vote. Is it getting a message across? Is it doing something? I want to see these things bring the government to captivate the government's attention to address them. But I've heard nothing so far. I heard that they laid their complaint at the foot of the legislature, who is going to take them in consideration and get back to them. So also today, I heard that the Grand Gideons are also going to boycott the 26 elections. They are boycotting the 26 elections. I mean, the 26 celebrations, sorry, because they feel certain things they are aggrieved about. It have not been addressed. They talk about people getting missing. One of their sons getting missing. And so again, we're finding more. It's not just now. So you got the students on one end, the grandchildrens on the other end. The other day was Lofa. We are seeing more and more dissent. This should be a concern that these issues could boil up and have catastrophic effect. You have to manage. A country is a thing that you have to know how to manage. It cannot run by itself. So when these issues begin to pop up, you need to address it. You have to be a man of the people, listen to their plight, and do something about it before it bubbles over. So yes, it is concerning when we hear it, but it's not just from the students. We're hearing it in different pockets. And that is getting to be a little bit more concerning from my end.
Mr. Tule, how is the opposition black able to leverage what the students are doing or the general atmosphere in the country? Because I don't remember ever since this government that opposition party has led any protest.
No. The same issue with I spoke to earlier. I said Liberian men are feckless. And because we are fickle-minded as men, the issue of standing for the general good of others outside of our own interest doesn't really bode well. This is a problem with Liberia. We are easily divided. When I was younger and I saw protests against Dole, the likes of World Tapia and other people who led protests against Dole, those guys were fundamentally progressives. They were fundamentally militants in their mindset, and they were very patriotic. They wanted the good for Liberia. So they won't even sit with the leadership to have a discussion. Do you know what I noticed? Because I was very, very active under Madame Salif. All these CDC people there, and the Daniel Bape and all of them that used to protest. We used to have meetings with them before they did their protests in many instances. Do you know what I learned? That many of the people who wanted to be seen as advocates and voices for the silent majority against the leadership was just to be seen, so that it could be put aside to have a one-on-one with leadership, so that they can mortgage the genuine interest of the majority for their own selfish gain. It has been the problem with Liberia. That's why you see right now, nobody wants to come to a protest, because all the leaders that have emerged and say we are the voice of the voiceless, they know full well that on the next in the night, they're meeting with leadership and cutting deals. Okay, they are meeting with, so that the people can see that you're not genuine. So it's like, okay, we don't need to follow the people. We don't need to come out and lend our voices to this issue, because the people who want to follow, the leaders who are convening the protest, they are all sellouts. Yeah. Anthony, I mean, and Dennis.
And that's why I'm looking at Boakai, I'm looking at Cummings, I'm looking at other political party leaders to lead this kind of thing, or at least openly support. Hold on.
The reality, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, or openly support what the students are doing, for instance. But we don't hear anything.
Yeah, and you are so right. And I'm not, Dennis, you know me in my conversations, I'm very, very forthright. I say it as it is, okay? These men are not activist politicians. They're not activist politicians. I'll give you a common example. We used to say something about Charles Bronski. We used to say when we want to do dirt, when we want to do something
just do 30 seconds, because
I agree. When we want to do something radical, we're not telling, because when you tell him, he's so law-abiding. He will say, "Hey, I don't want you guys to do this the way you want to do it," and blah blah blah. And then when you go and do it, then it becomes insubordination. So we rather do it, and then he hears that we did it, and we can come and justify why we did it. The reality here is the leaders that we're talking about. The first thing about,
let me cut you short. Let's go to Prince to conclude on his side, because our time on the radio is over in Monrovia.
Okay.
Yes, so let me say thanks for the show. So like I said, from the onset, from all the topic discussed, the issue with the Cummings Boakai reunion, still seems difficult, but again, like I said, it will be a good thing if it happens. That's the only way anyone can think that you can beat the Joshua government. No one political party can just think that you can just go into election with the CDC and win. That's not possible. And then the protest, for me, I see no need of a protest because when the Joshua government came to power in 2018, there was a very big massive protest here for alleged missing $15 billion or thereabout. And then there were investigations conducted for that. And we all know them, the Crow investigation, the one that was set up by them, Mr. President. We are, I'm so glad. I was just playing as a child. Alex Coffey's voice before the show started. He was one person who put that. I still had his audio on the texter. And what came up from those investigations? So protests will not change anything. It's been happening in time memorial. We only do those. At the end of the day, people will become victimized. Some of them will be jailed. And so I see no need for the protest again.
You mean out of fear?
Those can be backed by certain external forces, political forces from outside. And so we'll be watching. Is that?
No, I say what you are saying that no need for protest because
that's what is my fear, right?
Yeah, you are afraid it's not going to change anything. So we should just sit down with our tails between our legs and say nothing.
Yeah,
is that what I'm hearing?
It's not gonna yield no fruit, Dennis. Nothing gonna come from inside. That is my thinking. No need for protest because your protest from now till maybe 2023. Those protests will not yield no fruit.
Thank you. We have
That's what I think.
Thank you. We have 5 minutes to close. I want us to go around the room and just give our closing comments. Let me start with Jimmy. We go to Tule and then Alex.
Okay, so the issues today, what we talked about were, the UP and ANC, the CPP reunion. It's good if they can get over it. It was so that we can solve our problems and we can get back together. It will show a sense of maturity. But they have a long way to go before they can make the case for Liberia. The student protest is concerning, and like many people I noticed commenting here today, they should express the protest in the elections, because really we haven't seen much yielded from these protests, and in fact a lot of harm may come to it. I think that is a better way of going about expressing your lack of confidence in what the administration is doing. It's a better way of carrying a message to other people instead of because that's what protest essentially is to send a message, and there's no better way to send a message than through the ballot box.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to announce quickly, this is our Independence Day weekend starting today. So we're going to start tonight at 7 p.m. We're going to have Founding Fathers of Liberia on the Liberian History channel with Carl Famler. You don't want to miss it. And tomorrow we're going to have the FOL Virtual Independence Day program. The Independence Day orator is Dr. Ibrahim Yen. We're going to also have other appearances. Biola Nimne will be reading our Independence Day poems, and artist Jesslyn will be releasing or performing her single Hail Liberia. Tule, what's your conclusion? 1 minute, please.
Protest is important in Liberia. Is until we can. Let me tell you something. Listen, Ja. Any president that comes to power and doesn't get the people on his side to protest the national legislature, they will hamstring his agenda and destroy his government. Because the first thing that needs to change is that remuneration package. Remuneration package that they are getting is too much, it's too heavy. We are giving them too much money for nothing. They can operate on less, far less, on half of what they are getting monthly. It's what they really is enough for them. And that money can go into very essential services. So protest is important. And it's quite unfortunate to a certain extent that the leaders that we have right now that are forerunners in the opposition do not see themselves as activist leaders. And that takes away, because to change Liberia, you have to be an activist leader. To change Liberia, you have to be a reformist. To change Liberia, you have to be able to speak to the issues without fear or favor. You can't be too diplomatic. You gotta. I said it the last time, Jimmy, on the other show we were doing, on our regular show, I said we need a benevolent dictator. But the only thing that gives legitimacy and that shows up a benevolent dictatorship is when the people see that the leader is in their interest foremost, that he will go above and beyond to deliver and improve their material well-being. When he exhibits some dictatorial tendencies to move forward an agenda for development and growth, the people will back it. But if he is sectarian and he's corrupt and he's not in the interest of the people and he starts to do things that will be deemed dictatorial, the people will reject it, they will stand against it, they will stand in repudiation of it, and they will hamstring it, they will destroy it. But when a leader is for the people and he's sold out for them, they will follow him over the cliff. They don't care. So what we need in Liberia, we need strong activists, even from the student perspective, who will not go in the night to go and lobby and have deals with the government, but to stand, let the people see your transparency and let us see you, your consistency on the issue, and they will follow you, they will support you, they will defend you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coffey, your closing comments, sir.
I will close like this. Like Ismail said, the people should express their dissatisfaction, their frustration, or their concerns through the ballot box. Vote, like what happened in 2020 with coming up with dealers and other people. Unfortunately, that did not happen in Lofa. I saw that the protest vote, even though Jala was a good candidate, a formidable candidate, but the protest vote also favored Kotima. Unfortunately, he did not end up winning. Now, the people should exercise their frustration through the protest vote. Unfortunately, the question is, where is the viable alternative? The viable alternative that the people saw is the opposition or the CPP. And what do we see? Inner fighting and this and that. So it's about time that the opposition or the CPP get back together on the drawing board. Like I said, one scenario would be JMB standard bearer, Mr. Cummings vice standard bearer. Number two scenario would be Cummings standard bearer, a JMB picked individual as vice standard bearer. Or number three, they should stop fighting among each other and go their separate way and take their message, individual message, to the people. JMB, you go your side and take your Unity Party message to the people, to the electorate. Cummings, you go your side and take your ANC message to the people, with the understanding that if there's a second round, you will have peace to support each other to get the necessary endorsement.
Thank you.
Because you are against an equally formidable candidate, a ruling candidate. Mm-hmm. So if you are serious about this, you got to put your houses together.
I agree.
Thank you. On that note, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank our viewers. I want to thank our colleagues at Prime FM. Stay tuned at 7 p.m. top of the hour. We're going to have the Liberia History Channel. And since this is our Independence Day weekend, we're going to be discussing our founding fathers. We now end with our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Good night and God bless you.
We are Liberians.